Good evening, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And I want to talk about a thought experiment. Sometimes I go over ideas that you think through and arrive at a conclusion, possibly. There is a pretty well-known thought experiment. I want to walk through it real quick. So you're in some kind of closed system. You're probably indoors because it's a closed system, but not necessarily. Maybe there's just a big wall and you can't escape beyond the wall, and within the perimeter you have, the ability to roam about within the system, but not to leave the system. And let's consider another variable in the system. Your only romantic prospects are going to be in there with you, maybe somehow, somewhere. Let's add yet another variable where every single room that you can possibly visit or area in the system is being monitored and surveilled by, cameras, people, security, unknown people sometimes. And turns out this is actually a real situation in most zoos. Granted, they're not people living in there, they're animals, many of them, most of them. And some animals will refuse to partner. They just won't reproduce, such as pandas. It's a pretty well-known thing. They have a very hard time reproducing in captivity. There's a reason for this, and I want to go over this. So in this thought experiment, consider that you're in this place where the only possible thing you can do is to, get down on camera. Do you feel okay with that? I mean, because maybe you do. Maybe you're used to it. Maybe it's your daily job. I have no idea. I mean, there's people that do that. But for me personally, I was born with a very strong sense of modesty. I knew from when I was very young that I was uncomfortable being naked around people. It was something that I wasn't confused about. It wasn't like inhibiting to that point. It was just, I had a very strong sense of, make sure you're covered up and put on clothes before you are around strangers or anybody, really, as a young person especially. But even as an adult, it was, very strong instinct. And I don't think it's misguided at all. I think that it's for protection and health, ultimately, so that you don't attract the wrong kind of attention. You don't end up mating randomly with people, because that's what could happen. And if you've watched my other videos, you know the hazards of non-random mating, or the importance of it rather, and the hazards of random mating. So anyway, back to the thought experiment. You're in this place, it's some kind of building or facility, and it's got cameras everywhere, and you may or may not have clothes. It doesn't really matter, but the only romantic or sexual options are to do it on camera. Well, personally for me, that would be a deal breaker, not because of the reasons you might think. I could probably will myself to get past that if I had to. I could will myself to just, knuckle it or, muscle through and just abandon my principles and my inhibitions. And that's what a lot of people end up doing. However, I would not feel comfortable pulling someone else through that with me. Even if they were in the same boat, even if they said that they were comfortable with it, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Because at that point, you're creating an attractive nuisance, you're doing something that feels improper, and you're also doing it for the wrong reasons. It becomes a group event. That's the ultimate deal breaker for me. You see, proper romance is an agreement. It's an agreement, and the only proper agreement is between two individuals. Even if you are signing a terms of service with a corporation, there is some person who is ultimately responsible legally for that corporation. Every single time, there has to be. A corporation is not a person. It has no brain. It doesn't make decisions on its own. It may even have a board of directors and shareholders who influence the voting, but there's always going to be some 51% shareholder who has the final veto power, or the ultimate vote. And the point here is that agreements, when proper, don't have riders. They don't have group consent. There are no extra conditions brought with the agreement, the proposal. So it's between two individuals when it's proper, every single time. So in a closed system, such as I keep mentioning, where there's surveillance and presumably people monitoring it and managing it, you have a third party. You have a third party, some kind of middleman who's doing whatever. It doesn't have to be untoward necessarily. It doesn't even have to be, that they're, recording it or selling it, but that could easily happen. How do you know, right? all that it takes for it to be improper is that there's an unwelcome, uninvited party present to your coupling, present to your romance, observing it, remembering it, either digitally or just mentally. Either way, it becomes an act of pornography, potentially. And for me, that's a deal breaker. I would have to go the route of the panda, and I hate to say it. I would suffer, and I would cry, and I would be depressed to the point of being suicidal, but I would not want to just muscle through and have sex anyway while there's a camera in my face. Can't do it, man. Sorry. And I might be the only person on earth who says that. I stand by my comment, and I'm 100% sure that that's not something I want to do. I would sooner go without sex for the rest of my life than do it on camera, knowingly and willingly. Just saying, that's me. You do you. Enjoy yourself. Be your best self, and I hope it's for the right reasons. I seem to have a lot of principles that most people don't have for some reason. And I guess it is what it is. Reach out if you like with questions or comments down below. Thank you.